23rd. Rise and shine. I'm WESH 2 First Warning Meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week ish. Check in, see what's doing in the world of weather. I appreciate you hanging yesterday. I was busy doing my thing. We'll talk more about that later. But first, there's a lot to talk about in the world of the tropics. Outside right now, we have Major Hurricane Gabrielle in the central North Atlantic. And then there are two tropical waves that have just been tagged as invests. Yeah, lots to talk about. So, first and foremost, let's get right over and see what the latest is with Gabrielle. This storm system is a beast. Look at that satellite imagery passing, thankfully, off the east coast of Bermuda. There's St. George. Our friends there dealing certainly with very, very rough surf, rip currents, the whole thing. Probably pretty gusty out that way. Winds are at 140 miles an hour in the center of Hurricane Gabrielle. It's moving to the northeast at 13 miles an hour. So thankfully, moving away from Bermuda. And as a matter of fact, we look at the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center. It takes it away from Bermuda and continues its motion away, away, very near the Azores. And then look at how by Saturday and Sunday, it will no longer be a tropical storm per se in terms of tropical in nature, but it will still have those winds. Saturday, Sunday, notice winds are calming, 65 down to 45. But Spain and Portugal will have a coastal storm absolutely that they're going to deal with. Yeah, so there's that. That's the latest on Gabrielle. Major hurricane. It is a nasty thing. Really glad this one's not going to come and bother us. Really glad. All right. Then behind that, we've got two tropical waves. Let's start with Invest 93. Here's a look at the satellite imagery. It's not organized, but it is definitely firing up healthy convection here, right? Invest 93 is the one that has a high 90% chance of development. As a matter of fact, conditions are favorable for formation. 90% over the next 7 days. Then ahead of that is Invest 94. This one firing up convection as well. This one has a medium 60% chance of developing over the next 7 days' time. So when we look at them all together, there you go. You've got Invest 93 in red, Invest 94 in orange. But here's kind of the steering dynamics. And I think that this is very, very important to point out. Okay. We've got the three features. It's late September. We're watching these cold fronts, and essentially, it's going to be the timing of these cold fronts, the position of the cold front that really steers these two tropical features. Now, the models do want to recurve and keep them out to sea. The question is all about the timing. So let's do this. Let's pop up the computer models here together. And let's review and see what they're saying, okay? We'll start with the American GFS model, of course, because it was working a second ago. Of course. All right. What's so funny is it was literally working 10 seconds ago when I got on for Coffee Talk. All right, I'll check my email because I have nothing better to do here. I'll get that straightened out. Um, Debbie's asking, is Invest 93 moving faster, or excuse me, is Invest 94 moving faster than 93? They're all, you know, if one runs into another, then you end up with the Fujiwara effect. So you're not necessarily going to be getting that kind of an issue there, right? But it's important to note that this type of a pattern, that front's timing is everything. Okay, if the front times out correctly, then this all gets swept out to sea. And it's not just the timing of the front. If these systems, if it happens, if the front arrives too early or too late, it could end up pushing these into the Gulf and then making them more of a threat to us. So obviously, this is something that we have to watch. All right. I think let's try this again. I think that'll work. That'll work. Perfect. All right. So let's do pressure normalized anomaly. We'll do the Atlantic Basin. All right, perfect. All right, so this is the full Atlantic Basin on the, yeah, perfect. Full Atlantic Basin on the American GFS model. Okay, I'll bring it full screen. Don't need to see me. Let's look at this together, though. There's Gabrielle in the North Atlantic doing its thing, behaving. Love that. Then further south, we start to see these other little blips, right? These other little areas that could be forming. There, it's east of us, recurving. Now, this one would get either very near or kind of impact directly Bermuda. All right. Now, at the same time, if I back it up, there's another one that kind of gets Fujiwara and weakened. So, do both of them form? We don't know for sure that both of them form. We have to watch it closely, right? Now, at the same time, watching the Gulf around October 1st, model showing some sloppy weak kind of load, maybe trying to do something there. Nothing too organized, but it's something. All right, back out to the basin view. And there's another one. There's another, things come alive. But notice, if we go to right now, it really doesn't develop the GFS doesn't really develop the front one. It develops the back one. Okay. And then at the very end of the model run, October 5th, 6th, there's something else out east of us, something west of us, along a front, the GFS doing GFS things. Okay, all right, we'll work on that. Looking at the ensembles in a minute. Let's go over to the European. So there's Gabrielle recurving. Let's go to the basin view. You kind of see here the Euro trying to show both areas of low pressure, one around the Turks and Caicos, the other one outside of the Turks and Caicos. Okay. Euro at the very end brings the front one awful close to the Bahamas and awful close to us. Now, the timing of that. There's Sunday morning. There's Monday morning. You know what's so funny? I have to. I'm texting Kellyanne right now. And we'll talk about Kellyanne in a minute. But anyway, so Euro, notice very different than the GFS. Okay. The Euro putting something just off of our shoreline Monday the 29th. So a week from yesterday. Very different. And why? It's very different because it's timing out the cold front and the upper level dynamics differently. That's the current run of the GFS. That's the 6Z. Let's go to the 0Z. There's Gabrielle. The 0Z develops both of them, but then recurves the outermost one, Invest 93, and brings 94 toward the Carolinas. Weaker. All right. It there's nothing set in stone here. So this is where ensembles come in. I don't want you all to think like looking at this like we're gonna get hit. That's not the case. We don't know yet what's gonna happen, but the ensembles will give us a clue in how confident the models are. But of course, I'm going to show you all the deterministic. And then beyond that, just looking way down the pike, the European has nothing way down the pike. All right, Euro AI deterministic, just because. Yeah, and it brings the outer one to the Carolinas, the other one awful close to us. Either way, the models are at least giving a tiptoe of like, hey, Florida, you may want to keep an eye, right? And not even Florida. It may just, it's more like, hey, United States, you need to keep an eye. That's kind of what's happening. So let's look at the ensemble plots. Give me a second. I'm going to load up the GFS ensembles and we're going to go through this together. Okay. Now, for those of you that are new to Coffee Talk, and whenever there's tropical trouble, I always notice, and a lot of new people join us. So, whenever there's tropical trouble, we look at ensemble plots. Okay. Ensembles are like inside baseball. So this is the GFS. So think of it as the GFS that we look at, the one GFS we look at, but once it's done running the one GFS, we call that the deterministic model. It then goes back and reruns itself as an ensemble plot, and it gives it like 30 different solutions. Think about it. Okay, pretend you're me for a minute. I'm nothing special. I'm not doing it for that. But think about it. Pretend you're me. Somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey man, I've got plans. How confident are you that this is going to hit? Or how confident are you that this is not going to hit?" I always say the same thing, which is let's look at the data, right? So, in terms of modeling, the deterministic is just one shot and it changes constantly. The ensemble is the how confident are you that this is going to happen? So let's look at and that's one of those things, it's definitely a little bit more inside baseball, but let's face it. It's a Tuesday morning at 8:12. You're talking to a meteorologist. So you're probably a little more interested in the inside baseball than maybe the normal, audience. So let's come through time and watch how here we are that's Friday night. The ensembles are showing two areas of low pressure. Again, this is the GFS ensemble, two distinct areas of low pressure. Notice most of the ensembles, at least the GFS, keep this away from Florida. Okay? Most, if not all of the GFS ensembles keep this away from Florida. So and again, the GFS did not have it coming toward Florida. And the ensembles are backing that up. So that's good, right? But the GFS afterward, October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, starting to show ensemble members in the Gulf coming alive. Okay, so that's the GFS. Let's look over at the European ensembles. The European ensembles have, I believe it's 50 different flavors. Matt says, alert, prepare for hornets. That's right, yeah. They look like hornets, right. All right. Now, notice even the Euro ensembles basically keep it off the coastline. They have something nearish, but they keep it off the coastline. All right. Let's go back one run because the Euro doesn't go out as far. There's a couple that bring it in around South Carolina. There's a couple that bring it around South Florida, but the vast majority of the Euro ensembles keep it off the shore. It's close, but they keep it off the shoreline. And then notice the Euro ensemble shows that early October time frame in the Gulf, from the Caribbean to the Gulf. Okay? So there's another thing to watch. Euro AI ensembles. Now, the Euro AI ensembles are much more spread out, meaning it don't know where this is going to go, right? So, how confident are you that Florida's going to get hit or not hit? At the moment, not very. The ensembles, most of the ensembles keep all of this mess away from us, but some don't. Also, notice, independent of, watch these new bubble ups here October 3rd, 4th, 5th. So, I still think that first couple of days of October may be a time frame that we have to watch, right? So important to note, steering currents keep this curving. The question is genuinely to me, am I concerned that it's going to hit? At the moment, things are looking good that we won't get like a direct hit, but it's all going to depend on the timing. So, like, I'm not writing anything off yet. And that's not me being a hyper. That's not me being trying to get you all for ratings. I don't collect ratings. Coffee Talk I'm not paid for. My workday starts at 10 a.m. today. Right? So just to be honest with you, like I'm not gonna hype it. It's also like it goes against my grain. I'm gonna watch this closely. Like, we'll be watching model trends. We'll really have to watch this. Just to be honest with you. I'm not overly concerned, but it's something that we have to watch. Okay? So again, it looks like today's Tuesday. By late this week, we're going to have an idea of something forming and then hopefully keeping off of our East Coast. But Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be watching the Tropics this weekend. And of course, I'm working both days. Like, awesome. Love that. And then early, late this weekend and early next week, we're gonna have to watch. Frank says, hype that cold front. Yeah, dude, right? So that's kind of where we're at tropically. Robin's asking, what does the BSR show? Yeah, so we should look at that here in a couple seconds time because I'm running Coffee Talk off my MacBook Air, so we can do that, right? Jamie says this on YouTube says this is why we watch you. You do not hype anything. I do hype cold fronts if I'm honest. I mean, if I'm fully forthcoming with you, I do hype the cold fronts. Terry says, are we tracking the tropics today? Yep. WJCL Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Nelson and I will be tracking the tropics together. It is a Tuesday, and if it's a Tuesday during hurricane season, we track the tropics. So, yes, we will be doing that together. Jeannie Rowan, I am glad you do this for free because I couldn't afford this info. We're here for you, Jeannie Rowan. I want you to know I genuinely do this because I'm a weather nerd. I'm a meteorologist. Wesh is a company that allows me to serve my community, and I take this seriously. So I'm grateful you tune in and spend your time and trust me. And as I've told you many times, it's one thing to earn your trust; it's another to keep it. And I'm gonna fight for that always. Okay, honest to goodness. All right, so that's the scenario. This is going to be a closer call than we would like. The data looks like this is going to be a closer call than we would like. Could we also look at the Google ensembles? I don't have that like set up, and I don't really know the rights for that. I need to figure out the rights for that. I think we can. Where is it? I've got it. I had it in my history here, but I don't see it anymore. It's the Google DeepMind. Yeah, I have to look. Let me go and look. I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't know the rights to that. If I'm allowed to do it, then I will absolutely do it. But I don't want to get fired. I don't, all that stuff. So yeah, yeah. So that's Keith. You do it because you're deep down a hero. Dude. I would not go that far. I appreciate you, but no, I definitely would not go that far. Send us a little wind. A little wind, please. Well, I mean, if we get some of these tropical deals off of our east coast and a cold front kind of north of us, we're going to get some breeze. So there's going to be that, right? Yeah. Let's see here. As I've said before, I don't trust any except you and Tom. Well, thank you, Terry, and I appreciate you. We're going to always work hard for you. All right. So Deborah's asking, does it look like a washout Friday at New Smyrna Beach? It does not look like a washout. No, as a matter of fact, here's our coastal 7-day forecast. And we'll get back to the tropics in a second. But notice, Friday 40% coverage of rain, right? That's where we're at across the coastline. Across our inland spots, pretty much the same. So no, we're not looking at a washout. Definitely have to watch to see how the next few days play out in terms of these tropical models. Darlene, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. All right. But yeah, so in terms of the tropics, it's going to all come down. It's going to all come down to how cold fronts and troughs and all this play out. We're going to watch it. I promise you, we're going to watch it. You know what I mean? I gotcha. What are the odds 94 misses the front? Seek and destroy. Let's slow down. Okay. Now that they have both been tagged invests, 93 in the back, 94 in the front, now we're going to be able to start running computer models on them. Now we're going to have some information. Okay? Little by little. Let's slow it down. Okay? Just take it easy. For now, we're just going to have it's calm the heck down time when it comes to the tropics. Major C202 on YouTube's asking for the BSR. We'll do that, yes. But I want to make sure now that we've got the thing is now these blobs of development are a little close to us and everybody's going to start getting scared and I'm going to be the one that's going to be here to tell you, let's not get scared. Let's not worry, okay? All right. Now, we've looked at the models together. Now what we get to do is we get to look at the BSR. Give me a few seconds. I got to get it put together. I know. All right. The BSR is a somewhat non-traditional way to track things, okay? I love using non-traditional ways to track things. So, let's follow the BSR together. It looks in the future, so you'll have to excuse it, okay? So this is this weekend. Let's see, what is that? So this is the 28th, 29th, 30th. It's got that low, but it kind of has it pulling away. Now there's another one around the Carolinas. There's no strong signals here. So the BSR's kind of got some areas of low pressure in the deep south. The BSR is not going to do us very good here because they're weak and they're just not standing out. So at least for this weekend, the BSR is not going to play out for us. Now, if you notice, northeastern United States, it does show a storm system gearing up there. So more than likely, one of these is going to want to head that direction and gear up. All right, but as far as like southeastern United States, it's a little murky water. Look at that cold front, though. Now, Gulf Coast, we're going to have to perhaps watch October 4th, 5th, 6th. Which, if I remember, we've been talking for a while about, and if I remember, that's exactly what the GFS kind of talks about is something. One of the models was kind of showing something around that. So the BSR showing that October 4th, 5th, 6th time frame, something in the Gulf. Okay? And then something else around October 7th, 8th, 9th. This one may not be tropical, but 7th, 8th, 9th. The first like 10, the first half of October in the Gulf looks pretty active, just to be honest with you. All right, and then I have to switch over here. Okay, all right, now here's the BSR. That's a little cold front action there. That's October 12th, 13th, 14th, so around Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. A little cold front action. Nice cold front action, perhaps. I'll take that. That's interesting. Looks like an old front that may kind of do some sort of tropical deal. That's a front. Cold fronts. Y'all. That's October 24th, 25th, 26th. There looks like a bunch of cold fronts. Like October looks like cold front. It looks like cold fronts. All right, so first half of October looks to be busy in the Gulf. Second half of October is looking like cold fronts. That's what I'm seeing. All right. Nothing perfect, but definitely looking like cold fronts. All right. Let's see here. I really missed the old BSR days when we even looked at the map of Alaska. Yeah, that was. I mean, you can still see the map of Alaska there. If you look at it, if you look at it, I'll take the overlay off. Like that's Alaska. See in the top right? That's Alaska. I just put the overlay on because this is that non-standard way of looking at weather. But yeah, so you know, uh, we're watching the tropics. Thankfully, though, at the moment at least, this is what we've got. These three areas, nothing directly threatening us for now, but certainly something to track. Okay, Gulf late to the party as usual. I just hope that the Gulf doesn't ever show up to the party. It's one of those friends you don't want to invite. All right. I'm hyped about you. Hey, go slow down. I was over by the band, by the way, on Saturday, saying hi to Ron and Tremont and old Dave in the third quarter. Busy part of this pattern and then dead. Seems to fit the pattern of 2025. Well, and remember, Matt, these next few weeks we transition into the new pattern, which is completely different. So there's that, you know? So, yeah. Keith, let's think about what a hero is. Some fly and they protect people and ask nothing for themselves. Just think, want to protect people. Sound like anyone we know. I appreciate the sentiment. I don't believe myself to be a hero. I will be here to help. I will be here. I appreciate it, but no, that's not me. The heroes are the servicemen and women in our armed forces, the first responders, the doctors that are literally saving people's lives. Those are heroes. I'm but a weather guy who's sitting here in a polo shirt and jeans, sipping coffee, looking at weather information with my good friends. So there's that. All right, let's talk local weather, and then we can talk about some things that are sad. Lukewarm, we'll say. All right. First, let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. 50-50 shot of seeing showers and storms. We're definitely getting into a bit more of an active pattern here locally. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've got the rain. So let's dial it in and see where our future cast is today. Okay? Dialing that up. Bup, 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 bup. Here we are locally, looking great this morning. Notice, look at 2 o'clock. 3, 4 widespread showers bubbling up, thunder showers 5 p.m., 6 p.m. storms around, and then kind of fading 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So, yes, we do have indeed some rainfall around. All right, so we're going to talk non weather, but I'm going to leave the 7-day forecast up just so that we can do that. Yesterday, it was announced, and this is something that I have known for a little bit now, that our friend, our colleague, and as I truly feel, my partner in crime, Kellyanne Class, is leaving Wesh. I am so sad selfishly that we're losing Kellyanne. Um, by the way, while I'm mentioning this, I will tell you we're going to have Kellyanne on Coffee Talk Live tomorrow morning. So she's going to chat with everybody. We were almost ready to go today, but she forgot her headphones. So we're going to have Kellyanne on Coffee Talk tomorrow to talk to all of us about her next her next adventure in life. I will tell you that just from what she announced, her husband is a pilot in the United States Navy, and um, she is proud to do what she has to do to support her husband. Selfishly, I am so sad. So sad. Um, in my 25-year career doing weather, and I'm true in what I'm going to tell you. This is not a lie. And this is not a knock on anybody else that I've ever done like hurricane or severe weather coverage with. I have never in my life connected with somebody in severe weather coverage like I have with Kellyanne. I could read her thoughts. She could read my thoughts. I have never felt so completely connected with someone in severe weather coverage. And I felt like for these last 5 years, I have felt so honored to have her as my partner, and I have been so honored to be her partner in these hurricanes and tornadoes and anything that threatened. It always seemed like when the weather got crummy, Kellyanne and I were together. And right down to like when in hurricanes, she and I like bunked in HTV design, the corporate graphics of it. Like we bunked, and it was like brother sister in the funniest way. Like she'd be in one side of the room, I'd be on the other side of the room. We'd be in our sleep, and we'd be like, we're gonna have to build this graphic tomorrow. We're gonna have to build this, and she'd be like, "Shut up, Burris." And I'm just like, why are you so annoying? Like, just it was such a fun dichotomy, and I loved every second of working with her. Um, yeah. So we're gonna have her on Coffee Talk tomorrow morning to talk about it. Talk about her next chapter, and and I will also promise you that we'll have her on Coffee Talk from time to time, even afterward. Jeannie Rowan, well, now we're all misting up for you. You're crying. I'm not crying. I've already cried. Literally, when this was announced, I kept my crap together, but I started tearing because again, like colleagues are great. I'm not dogging anybody else I've ever worked with. But when you have that special colleague that like you've been through it all with, God, and that person leaves, and it's just it's you can't prepare for that, right? Christopher says I had a partner like that back in my early career as a paramedic. It's rare and hard to find that type of a partner. Yeah, it's true. The impact of your absence on your friends is the true measure of character. KK will be missed. She's still, man, she's still going to be my kid's sister. And you know what else, if I may? So I made the post on my Facebook page, and Sosna, Steve Sosna, who used to be a meteorologist at WNBC and is now moved on from there, he posted because she interned with him. Listen, when you've got a former mentor who posts like just like I cannot speak enough about this woman's character. And so she'll share everything. We'll joke about some stories and and chat all about it. That'll be tomorrow on Coffee Talk. But I've there's a huge loss to our Wesh weather team, and again, selfishly to me personally, I feel a huge loss. She brought such a unique flavor. So um yeah. I don't I in the moment like certainly I want to wish her well, but every time I see her I'm like I hate you. Like, like just selfishly because it's like we've talked so deeply. She's my kids love her. I'm pretty sure Eric has a crush on her. Like it's adorable and she's been so great with the boys. So, you know, that's where it is. Yeah. Cindy, her only fault is that she forgets the Coastal 7 Day. Listen, this morning newscast is a bear. And for what it's worth, she did the Coastal 7 Day today and the last few days. Cut the girl some slack. She's moving. Ay 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 ay. So that's where my heart is at. Is sad that we're losing such a wonderful, wonderful member of the weather team. So I will tell you that a national search is on because we're going to need a new meteorologist to join the team. And so, we've done some interviews. We're going to continue to look around and we're, the powers that be are going to find the absolute best fit for us, however long that takes to the weather team. All right. The thing is, Tony Manalfi there's a genuine, I don't want to call it morality because that's not the right word, but like Tony sets a tone in our weather department, taking care of each other, taking care of our viewers, and there's just such a there's a vibe, and I've always said this, like Manalfi, Manalfi puts his money where his mouth is and expects all of us to do the same. So we need to make sure that whomever we hire to join our weather team and our weather department fits that mold. It's very, very important. And I'm grateful for Manalfi too. He's my knucklehead, but that's the truth. Mike says, I have a counterpart in Florida that I feel the same way. He's the yin to my yang. Everything I'm not, he is. And everything I'm not, everything he is, he's not, I am. Hate if either of us moves on. Yeah, yeah. It's my kid sister there. So anyway, we'll have her on Coffee Talk. I'm grateful to I'm grateful to not only have worked with her as long as I have, but I'm also grateful that that I'm going to continue to get to have her as a friend. So we'll talk to her more on Coffee Talk, and I'm going to do my best to not tear up thinking about her leaving. Can you put Alex in a wig? Shoot, Alex. Alex will wear a wig for nothing. We had our going away party for Kellyanne the other night. Alex was there, and he had shaved his head or something. So it was like we were all just like, "Alex, that you?" All right. So that's all I've got. Anybody else have anything? And so David says, guess who become for yeah. So her last day is Friday, so my schedule is shifting all around. I am going to be working Sundays through Thursdays, so I'll be on Sunrise with you Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Cam will have Sunrise Fridays and Saturdays. All right. So you're gonna have a lot of me in the weather center in these next few. I don't know if he shaved it. He just cut it real short. Um, so yeah, exactly, Lisa. So yeah, so I'll be doing coffee talk for the foreseeable future in the studio. Lots of early morning alarms for me. All right. We'll have Kellyanne talk more about it tomorrow. That'll be a nice chat. She'll be in the studio during her newscast, but we'll get her on. All right. Questions about anything? Questions, comments, concerns? Anything about our local forecast? Anything? You're allowed to have feelings about your colleague. It's one of those, it's one of those things it's just sat and resonated for a while. I will show you this though. This picture I took with her on, was it Friday night? I literally said to her, I hate you right before I took this picture. Yeah. 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 I literally said, I hate you right before taking this picture. Mm. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Oh, we'll still correspond. She's already like, how long is it going to take for you to take your airplane to where I'm moving? It's like a few hours. We'll figure it out. All right. Any other questions? Oh, my flight. Yeah. You know what? Flight yesterday was great. Flew early, watched the sunrise. Lisa Ann, I hate you equals I'm going to miss you. That's correct. Um, watched the sunrise over Lake Okeechobee. Flew down kind of near Fort Myers, exited near Marco Island, flew down to Key West. Had a little maintenance hiccup on the ground in Key West. Mechanic down at the airport was so wonderful. Got it all taken care of super quick. Brought the kids back some key lime pie that they hated. Oh well. And flew from Key West back up, went to Bartow, did the VOR approach into Bartow, and then back to Sanford. Christopher, was that why there was no coffee talk yesterday? Yeah, that's why there was no coffee talk. Here, let me show you. Let me show you. I'll show you a couple pictures from. Here's the sunrise. Yeah, here's the sunrise over Lake Okeechobee. That's that was the sun rising over Lake Okeechobee yesterday. I mean, that's as pretty as can be, right? I know the. How do you hate key lime pie? It's so good. Stand by. Yeah, look at that. Taking off from the. Look how pretty that is. My gosh, look at that. That's down the wing. Yeah, look how pretty. Look how pretty that is. Man, if you've never been to the Keys, y'all, like, geez. And then and then this is my personal favorite. Looking out the window there. Like there's nothing, just me and some water. Doo, 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 doo. Just me and some water. No, it was a great flight. It's a great flight. And now back to reality. And now, as it's 8:41, I'm gonna have to haul my tuchus over to the office because I've got to get ready for Tracking the Tropics Tuesday. I need Coffee Talk to wake up in the morning, and I was concerned when you weren't there. Don, I appreciate you, buddy. No, I should have. Well, I I was trying to. What ended up happening is I got to Key West in time to make a post, and then had my little maintenance hiccup. So just was focused on getting that taken care of. So I apologize, but all is well that ends well. No, Christopher, not a Cirrus. It's a Mooney. I'm a Mooney guy. Mooney. We call ourselves the Mooneyacks. Gotta enjoy the Keys while they're still above. I mean, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. You looked for me, Lee? So funny. Bill, did you get your rating? No, I'm working on my instrument rating. So yesterday was my long cross country. So had to do at least a 250 nautical mile cross country leg down. So went down to Key West, did the RNAV to Key West, did the VOR into Bartow, and then did the ILS into Sanford. So three approaches, well over 250 nautical mile leg. It was a perfect flight. Got some great breakfast at Pepe's down in Key West if you've ever been. That orange juice, my God. Yeah. I moon you from my Mooney. Well, Matt said he heard me on ATC coming back into Sanford, which is pretty funny. And then we were teasing about some of the other guys that were on the frequency. So I guess if you know the tail number, you go find it. When Matt told me that, my first question to him is, "How did I sound? I sound like I know what I'm doing?" Oh man, Lisa, you know Pepe's. You know Pepe's. The sign says 75-cent breakfast. You know it ain't 75 cents anymore. Anyway, questions, comments, concerns, anything? How far in advance did I have to schedule the flight? Tiffany's asking. That's kind of the cool thing. When you've got a plane, you type in your flight plan, you click file, and like 15 minutes later, you get in the airplane and you go fly it. So yeah, with coffee, sounded like a pro. Matt says, "Thank you, buddy." Will coffee talk at the same time with your schedule change? Yeah, it's gonna maybe it'll start at 8 because I've got a weather hit at 8 o'clock right off the dot on CW18. So I'll be a few seconds later, but yeah, it'll still be about the same time. The unlike with the follow. Yeah, well, the other guys. Yeah, that's okay. All right. That's all I've got, my friends. I've got to go drive to the office and get ready for Tracking the Tropics at 10. Marie, not at 9, at 10. Tracking the Tropics Tuesdays at 10. See, T T T T T T. Tracking the Tropics Tuesdays at 10. All right? All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you all in 1 hour, 15 minutes for Tracking the Tropics at 10. All right? Take care. Be the sunshine in someone